To be fair, if the Hamas killing of Israeli civilians is labeled as terrorism in response to Israel's long-standing policy of seizing Palestinian land and displacing its people, then logically, the Israeli Defense Forces' indiscriminate killing of over 42,000 lives after October 7th can similarly be viewed as retaliatory violence. Both the Hamas and Israel's actions stem from deep ideological conflicts. Hezbollah's politicized Islamist goal of erasing Israel and Israel's Zionist-driven territorial ambitions. These violent acts represent two sides of a cycle of aggression, differing primarily in scale and the legitimacy that international recognition confers. The Hamas is broadly recognized as a terrorist organization largely due to its tactics and its lack of formal statehood. The group's targeting of civilians is seen as unjustifiable, and its violent methods are condemned by much of the international community. On the other hand, the IDF's military operations, though responsible for significant Palestinian and civilian casualties, are generally framed as state-sanctioned actions carried out in defense of Israeli citizens. This legal and diplomatic legitimacy is granted by international norms that protect the rights of states to defend themselves, even when those actions lead to high civilian casualties. This distinction, however, is largely procedural, rooted in the legal protections that sovereign states enjoy. Statehood affords the IDF a framework of legality and diplomatic backing that non-state actors like Hezbollah do not possess. Nevertheless, from a moral and ethical standpoint, the difference is far less clear. Both the Hamas and the IDF use violence as a means to achieve political or territorial objectives, often at the cost of civilian lives. This reality undermines the simple legal distinction between terrorism and state-sanctioned violence. From an ethical perspective, the acts of both Hezbollah and the IDF, whether carried out by non-state actors or state militaries, result in significant civilian casualties. As both parties employ violence to further political and territorial aims, their actions could be classified as terrorism, regardless of their differing legal statuses. Violence that targets civilians or disregards their safety, even if sanctioned by a state, raises serious moral concerns. The key difference between the two lies in the IDF's position as the military arm of a recognized sovereign state, which grants it a level of international legitimacy that the Hamas lacks. However, this legal framework does not absolve Israel from the moral responsibility associated with large-scale civilian casualties. The international recognition of statehood may provide Israel with diplomatic backing, but it does not eliminate the ethical complexities surrounding the loss of life, nor does it justify the continuation of a cycle of retaliatory violence that results in the suffering of innocent civilians.